So guys, welcome to Xupes Watches YouTube channel, and today we've got a cracker for you. It is the iconic Rolex Day-Date. We're going to cover all of the precious metals that it comes in. Let's get into it. Rolex typically produces for two categories. We have the sports watches on the one hand and we have the classic on the other. The Day-Date of course falls very much into the classic lineup. When it comes to the Day-Date family, we have to talk about the technological innovation. In 1956, it was of course the reference 6511 that we saw the very first day and date functionality built into one wristwatch. We've got the day at 12 o'clock in a very beautiful, elegant window, and then at 3 o'clock we've got the date. The date at 3 o'clock of course was the extension of the Datejust that Rolex pioneered years earlier. So what are the key design elements of the Day-Date? Well, we've touched on one already, which is the fact that these watches only ever were produced in precious metals. So we're talking white gold, yellow gold, rose gold, and of course platinum. So they all tend to have this this real luxurious touch to them. They have this heft and this weight on the wrist. Of course, in 1956, when we saw the first Day-Date, it was a complication that had never been seen before, and it continued this narrative of Rolex really setting the trend from a technological perspective and a design perspective. So when it comes to the design elements of the Day-Date, there are a number of iconic elements that you need to consider. Firstly, we have the President bracelet, which was named after JFK. Polished central links, incredibly comfortable and now really quite legendary from a design perspective. We then have the Oyster case, which was designed and record setting for its capacity to be used in water. And so while many enthusiasts tend to gravitate more towards the sports references from Rolex, it is actually the Day-Date that for me offers more fun, more intrigue, and more opportunity to express personality. From 1956 and the inception of the Day-Date, we have seen so many dial variations from fossil to onyx to grossular to stellar. No matter what your character, you're set to find one that works for you. It's interesting to note that as well as the different dial finishes that the Day-Date has, the day itself was also referenced over the years in multiple different languages. So we have Arabic, we've got German and Italian, and a whole myriad of languages, which really gives that real international culture to the Day-Date. So why consider a Day-Date? Well, I think there are a number of things that are important here. And while we know and love the sports watches from Rolex, we tend to see them more often, and we don't see as many Day-Dates out in the wild as you do Submariners and Daytonas, and I love that personally. There are a number of things when you consider the President bracelet. It has become a cultural icon. It's something that every watch designer, every watch brand wants to achieve. It's that instant recognizable design cue from a distance. The President bracelet does that. It's become more than a functional watch. In my view, it's become a style icon. It's interesting for me to touch on the functionality element of the watch because often we see them simply as extensions of ourselves and not tools for actually helping us live our lives. Back in 1956, it was of course the very first wristwatch to feature a Day-Date complication, and in that respect I find it to be one of the most useful complications out there. It's instantly recognizable as to what day of the week it is, and I think along with the time of course, those are the two functions that we're desperately looking for at a glance, and we get it in abundance with the Day-Date. When we considered some direct comparisons, some competitors, some alternative options to the Day-Date, I have to be honest, it wasn't easy to consider one because the thing with the Day-Date, of course, it's a dress watch, it's classically designed, but it's also something that people can wear every single day. And in precious metal, that is not particularly common when it comes to watches. So we were struggling, but we could make comparisons to the Royal Oak. You know, it has a beautiful, iconic design as well. The bracelet is iconic. And price points now for some of these older Day-Dates and some of the smaller cased Royal Oaks from the past, the 33, the 36mm cases, those prices are leveling off against some of these collectible older Day-Dates. So I would draw that as probably my closest competitor to the Day-Date. And with that being said, it does come down to the simple facts. Are you here to buy a Rolex specifically? Are you looking for something with that real pedigree, that real heritage, and that real iconic technological advancement. If you are, I'm not going to be able to persuade you anything else is even going to come close. It has to be the Day-Date for you. And so there we are, folks. That is the Day-Date family. Thank you very much as always for joining me. Do leave your comments below. Let me know what your favorite reference is. If you like the video, do click subscribe and hit the bell icon to be notified of all of the new videos from Xupes. Until next time, go well.